So hello and welcome everyone to round 9 of the VRA GTE Pro Championship. We're at round 9, Daytona International Speedway, and I'm joined by Brad O'Nines as it is. How are you, Brad?
Hi Niall.
You sound a bit croaky there.
Sorry about that. And yeah, good evening everybody. Welcome to VRA Wednesday night GTE. Penultimate round of the championship. Things are getting tight. Championship on the line. Drivers getting testy. It's going to be a great night.
Yeah, sorry, I caught you off guard there. We are, of course, live from Mondello again. It's myself and Brad on the commentary team tonight. Who's your money on for this race tonight, Brad?
Well, all through the season, it's been a tight battle at the front. The usual pretenders, the Niall Quinn, Keith Dempsey, Charlie Eastwood. I mean, look, he's a class act, obviously racing WEC across the globe. But he's really starting to find his feet this season in our iRacing GTE Championship. And, when you look back at his earlier races, sort of hitting the middle of the pack as he found his feet with sim racing, he's now right up there as a contender. Currently sitting in P3 in qualifying, I see. And just to give you an idea, the top 3 cars separated by 0.2 of a second.
That's right. I'm just going to skip straight to live here, Brad, so that we're both on the same page. Because, of course, you were in the UK as we're watching this, and I'm sitting in Mondello, brought to us by the epic world of technology. So how's things in homeland UK, where you're sitting at home at the moment?
Pretty cold, I have to say. It's obviously a bit like yourselves, gearing up for the winter.
Yeah.
Ready for the winter season to start, but yeah, very much looking forward to this race. Of course, we're at the fabulous Daytona Raceway here in Daytona Beach, Florida. 5.7 kilometer circuit. It's probably known as a roval by the US, so a road course oval, and of course it uses some of those infamous banked turns that we all know Daytona for, made famous of course by the American NASCAR series. So a tricky infield. A lot of the drivers saying this week, as I was talking to them, that really quite hard circuit to get dialed into. Obviously, we expect the front guys to dial in pretty quickly, but yeah, a few of them struggling out there. Also saying track conditions tonight a little bit sketchy, a little bit loose on the grips, so expect to see some thrills and spills, I think, this evening. And
you're not out racing with us tonight, Brad, as usual?
No, well, I thought I'd come and join you in the box of doom.
So just run down through this. Currently it's not Niall Quinn, 140.41 dead. Keith Dempsey just in behind him, 140.58, and Brian McManus separating Charlie Eastwood from the top 3. Colin Bay is really going well as well, isn't he? So David Yamamoto then, 141, so half second behind, but David Yamamoto always quick around here, followed by Jordan Kelly. And Jordan was down into 140, so I'm just wondering what way is the track temperatures at the moment. Because I know during the week, Brad, when the guys were out, they were saying track temperature is so important to the lap times of the grip around here.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just looking right now. Ambient temperature is 22 degrees, track temperature 23 degrees. So pretty cool right now on track surface. So the track should be giving up some good grip once it rubbers up, which it should be doing as we're coming to the end of qualifying now. We've got sort of 2 minutes left thereabouts.
So I'm just looking. Chris Bayes has just gone purple sector in the GTEs. So let's see if we can ride on board. Is he pulling over? He is. David Yamamoto gone purple as well in his last lap. So of course we were talking to guys in drivers briefing, which happens before every race, about these double yellow lines off the apron, about avoiding using those, especially when on the banked areas. Track of course dictated by the white lines, Brad, as we say every week, but you can take advantage of this track as we ride on board now with David Yamamoto.
Yeah, well that's it. Obviously there's an opportunity here for a little bit of abuse because the track is so wide, and we've got this big yellow apron on the bottom side of the bank. You could shave a couple of metres off your lap, but look, these guys have all been advised by race control that we will be watching, and that they need to stay up in the racing lines unless of course there's an incident or another reason why that they need to drop down into the apron. But
so I think that's our classifications there. I think that is the end of our qualifying session. So Quinn does take it to pole. Keith Dempsey just 0.1/10 off the pace of that, with Brian McManus behind. Charlie Eastwood right on the tail of Brian McManus, with David Yamamoto, as we were just saying there, bringing it within 0.4. Colin Bays, look at that, Brad, for time between David Yamamoto and Colin. That's going to be some battle. 100 between those guys. Jordan Kelly, I'm going to put my money on Jordan Kelly to at least get up near a podium tonight. He's been going well at this all week. Thomas Sears, look how close this is, Brad. The top 10 separated by a second. Olivier Van Herk, Linus Pedeskis, 0.965 off, and then a little bit further back, Olivier Van Herk. And then we've got Sergey and Peter McCann joining us back tonight as well. So that's great to see Peter. Peter's had no practice out tonight, so we'll expect to see him getting quicker as the night goes on.
Yeah, well, VRA regular Peter McCann. Usually you can find him. You can find him up the top end of the thick end of the top 10. But obviously, we know he's had a few hardware issues over the last few weeks.
Well, he's had some upgrades as well. So
yeah, he certainly has. He's on some new kit, so I'm expecting great things from him. A charge through the field from McCann. But I just want to add a couple of things. Sneaky outside dark horse bet for me tonight.
Yeah.
Sergey Graben.
You reckon?
Now, yeah, I've got a little bit of money on him for a strong finish this evening. I think he's a dark horse for the race. He'll just quietly and coolly just go about his own race, and he'll pick up the pieces as and when people make mistakes around him. Now, there's a couple of things to pick up on tonight. One, it's going to be pretty heavy on fuel load, so we're expecting near enough 2 full tanks to complete race distance. So that's pretty high, really. That's more than we normally see across the racing circuit. So that'll be interesting. But of course, the big thing tonight is the GT3 class, and that's super exciting, of course, because the championship is right on the line here. Conor Murphy, who's leading the championship right now, wasn't sure he was going to make the race. He made it with minutes to spare, so he's in the race. And it's going to be a cracker on the back end of the field through the GT3 class. So look out for that. So
I'm just looking through some of these classifications. We're going to keep an eye on this for the start of the race, but it is showing you and I is on the grid. Of course, we are not. But it is Quinn from Dempsey as we look at our rolling start about to take off. With Brian McManus down the second row from Charlie Eastwood, Colin Bays from Jane Moylan James, of course, and Jordan Kelly. This is really going to be a run into turn 1, which is really tight. It opens out just onto the pit exit part of the track, and it comes into that really tight squeeze onto the first corner. What's your prediction for that, Brad?
It's a difficult turn 1. It's one of those corners, you're coming off quite high banking, you're trying to settle the car while turning, while coming off camber, and all trying to make it into an ever-decreasing wedge. It's always going to cause problems for anyone who doesn't approach it with some discipline. And of course, when you've got a multi-pack field, expect to see the GT3 cars back away a little bit at the start under the rolling start conditions to allow the GTE guys to go on ahead, so that if anything happens with them going into turn 1, hopefully that doesn't impact any of the GT3 guys. But yeah, tricky corner, easy to get wrong, miss your braking point and push you right wide, and then you're trying to cut back to make the corner, which means you're cutting across the stream of cars already there. So I think it's inevitable that we maybe see a little bit of wing mirror banging through that one today. So
safety car taking the cars around. It'll be up to Quinn to lead out the GTE cars, and of course, as we were saying in the past, what we've seen is the GT3 guys setting back. So that'll be Colin Bays to lead in the GT3s, but not much difference on these long bank straights between the GT3s and GTEs in practice. It's all really, the danger zone is in the braking of that. So we'll see.
Just on that, I think it'd be Conor Murphy leading out the GT3s, will it not?
You are right, actually. It's Conor Murphy from Adam Dale and Chris Bays. So of course, what Conor needs is to win this race and have Adam finish second to bring it down basically to the last race in Spa in 2 weeks' time. So that's what Conor's going to be hoping for.
Yeah, it's make or break. It's a crucial part of the season for him. But great to see that he can make it, and I think we're going to have a battle royale on our hands.
Hopefully, that's what we're all hoping for. So it's Quinn. Let's just get off board here as it's Quinn. Pace car is in, so Quinn's backing him up. I'm just trying to see. Dempsey is hanging back. McManus on the inside with Charlie Eastwood behind. So we are racing at this stage in Daytona. It's Quinn from Dempsey from McManus with Charlie Eastwood Olivier Van Herk making up a position over Peter McCann.
I'll happily say, I'll stand corrected. It looks like the entire field made it through turn 1 without incident.
It does, so, and that would just show the class of field that we have out here at the moment. So, even more importantly, though, it's Conor Murphy from Adam Dowling. Chris Bay is back in the GT3. So let's just have a look at that quickly. Conor Murphy needs this win tonight, and he needs Adam Dowling to stay in that position behind. But of course, Chris Bayes isn't going to make that easy at all as he tries it around the outside.
Well, and you can be sure that Adam's going to be doing Conor no favours at all. He's out there for himself, clearly. So he'll be gunning for the gearbox of Conor's car to see if he can go and put the cat amongst the pigeons. Absolutely,
and out in front in the GTE class, it's Dempsey who needs to win here as he closes in that gap. So he's got the toe in behind Quinn. Is he going to make the move into the bus stop? Oh, there's a top!
Contact! It's the contact and the two race
and Quinn is spun around. Dempsey takes the lead on that, but I'm sure there's going to be inquiries of that. Somebody else comes through in the background.
So got a pro car through the bus stop there, so they've cut the track. But,
so that is Dempsey up into first, followed by McManus. As now we have Charlie Eastwood climbing all over the back of Brian McManus. Look at this gaggle of cars, but that is unbelievably bad luck for Quinn. I'm sure he will be sending in an appeal for that. We'll have to wait and see. But this is 5 cars, as we said. This is the danger zone. Down into turn 1.
Around the outside, he's looking. Charlie's having a go. He's not going to make that skip. He's going to run out of road. Keith says, "No, thank you, sir, not today." And who's sneaking out?
It's Jordan Kelly.
Is that Jordan Kelly?
It is.
Through the lot. What a move! What a move! The 3 of them were scrapping. Jordan just went down the outside and just went, "Thank you, I'll take that."
So now coming out in turn 1 is Thomas Sears, who managed to get around everybody from Keith Dempsey with Charlie Eastwood in third place with Brian McManus. So through the first 2 corners of the section, somehow Thomas managed to pull off the move of the season, come back up from 5th place all the way up to first, as Dempsey now starts the job of reeling them in. So let's ride on board with Keith Dempsey here.
Tell you what, we need more contact. So that looks like that's Colin into Charlie.
Evan Walsh has been into the wall, I think it is. So Evan in 15 currently falling down.
Yeah, so Charlie's dropped a couple of places there. So there was some contact.
And I'll tell you what, Brad, Thomas is a quick guy. He's not going to be easy to A, catch, and B, pass. So this is work cut out for Keith Dempsey. Well, I'm just looking to see where has Niall Quinn managed. Is he actually dropped out of the right?
Yeah,
he's down in 14th.
Yeah, okay. Yes, he's 14th, yeah. So he's got
probably with damage on that car as well.
Raging inside that car, and I'm sure Keith will be equally disappointed by the contact. We'll need to look at it again post-race, but yeah, what a shame. We were slightly spoiled in the top battle there, but I think we've still got plenty of riders and runners at the top. Brian McManus will be chasing down Keith now. He's 1.4 seconds behind.
So Colin Bayes up into 4th. Danger man Jordan Kelly behind, with Charlie Eastwood falling back away in 6th. So Charlie obviously had some issues there. Let's just ride on board Charlie Eastwood, see how the WEC driver is getting on. Doesn't seem to have doesn't seem to have issues with the car, but as Conor Murphy falls down, so drama, what has happened with Conor Murphy? Is this his championship over? It looks like it. A lot of damage to that car, so something has happened. Conor Murphy, oh no, he was really hoping to take the win here today. He was going so well, but that car looks pretty badly damaged up. And that is the end of Conor's race. He will be absolutely gutted as Keith Dempsey goes up the inside of Tomas Sears. So can he make that stick? It looks like he has. So he's managed to get that move completed, Brad. But it does look like Brad's got some, Keith's got some damage to the front of that car as well. So, of course, in iRacing, he might suffer with that later on with reliability issues and overheating and stuff. So we'll keep an eye on that.
Well, we're also interested to see if he's losing any front downforce at all, because that's going to be working his tyres a little bit harder as well. So the tyre temperature is going to be coming up, causing further understeer. So, as you say, it could be a knock-on effect later on in the race. We might need to be taking some tyres.
And interestingly enough, back in 4th place, just looking back, is Jordan Kelly has managed to get past Colin Bay. So up in the 4th place for Jordan, while I think that is Conor's race over. He's going to stay going for it, but that is a lot of damage on that car, so he's going to be gutted with that.
Be absolutely crippled unless he comes to pit. So what a shame for Conor Murphy. That's we didn't see what happened, unfortunately. But, yeah, I think he's obviously tagged the wall pretty hard. Whether he had help on his way.
He will be gutted with that. So back up in front. Look at this gaggle of cars that we're going through. So 2 wide. Adam Dowling making a move on Tony Stack, making that stick. So Tony Stack has passed by Adam Dowling in the GTE class. That is Adam, I believe, out in front from Ian Malone.
Yes, yeah, it is. Yeah, Adam's leading, Ian Malone second, Chris Bayes in third. So yeah, that's Conor Murphy into the pits now. So it looks like he's going to be retiring that Mercedes GT3 car. And what a shame, he went and wanted the race to have ended like that.
That is a real shame, and he made such an effort tonight to get out from work. Everyone, of course, here that's racing is racing from home on their own simulators. We've nobody actually racing in the race at VRA HQ tonight. But it's Dempsey from Thomas Sears, Brian McManus, Jordan Kelly from Colin Bays with Charlie Eastwood, and then Olivier Van Herk. Your tip of the night, Sergey sitting happy. We'll have to see how the race goes. We're 6 minutes in with 45 to run. Sergey, of course, a master at getting in and out of the pits quick, so that could be good money. You have in Niall Quinn making his way up to 11, but this really playing into Dempsey's hands in terms of the championship. It's game on for Spa, but unfortunately in the GT3 class, it would look like with Conor Murphy out, it's going to be Chris Bayes.
Because whatever Conor Murphy's paying his pit crew, it isn't clearly enough, because they have fixed that Mercedes and it is back out on track. No, he's not given up just yet.
Good lads, how you going?
Back, but he's not. He's on the lead lap. In the midst of that, we've also lost David Yamamoto. I don't know if we picked that up. But
I think David Yamamoto actually crashed. It came up on the nose boards here, but we'll wait and see as we join the leader, Keith McManus. So Keith Dempsey from Brian McManus, half second back from Thomas Sears. So McManus making a move as well.
Yeah, Brian's looking strong around here. The Ferrari seems to work well around this track, particularly on the infield, where the BMW maybe has just the legs on the banking. So maybe a few more ponies under the bonnet.
So it's I see that we've got Jack Kinnan and Stephen Kershaw joining in on the live stream, but I think we're doing okay, Brad. What do you reckon?
Well, one way or another, they're stuck with us, so
now, Brian McManus all over the back of Keith Dempsey as they come in through the bus stop. So let's ride on board with Brian McManus here and see, can he get the toe out? He's very quick out through that section all through practice all week. So you can see Dempsey just taking that line down near the apron and getting close.
Different line there.
Exactly, yeah.
He's going to pick up the toe here down the back stretch. Or as the Americans would say, down the back straight away.
Dempsey's going defensive. McManus takes the outside line, which now opens up Thomas Sears. So this is going to be 3 wide into turn 1.
Yes, he's going to be close. He's gone for the outside. Can he make it work? He's gone for the high side. They are neck and neck as they go.
He's on board with Thomas Sears now in second place. He's got the move done over Brian McManus. So obviously very confident on the brakes. McManus locks up into the second section of this track as they come out now. Now it's all about getting the power down.
And as I was saying earlier, just in our pre-show, Brian makes a dive. Oh, that was close. Yeah, of course, it's very easy to outbrake yourself coming into turn 1 there, and it just washed the car out wide, which is what happened to Brian. And of course, Thomas wasted no opportunity of throwing a Vantai up the inside and made it stick.
So this heavy onto brakes. Now it's all about getting on the power early, winding up into this bank section of Daytona, and it's all about carrying the momentum down into the bus stop section. So we're right on board again with Brian McManus. See, can he get the toe in behind this time? But he lost out in the last wrap around. And don't forget, all the time sitting behind them is Jordan Kelly in 4th place, followed by Colin Bass. Charlie Eastwood sitting there in 6th. McManus not able to close that gap. Very tight through it. Down in 3rd gear. Get the grip in, get the nose in. Now onto the power. And of course, as we've said each week, it's all about these track cuts as well, Brad, to make sure that you don't go over that 17 threshold and get disqualified.
Yeah, look, as a driver, as I know all too well myself, 17X, and of course that's your race done for the day, and also some penalty points on your naughty boy licence. But so these drivers.
Here we go again into turn 1.
Well, Thomas has gone wide. He's taking a very wide line. That's opened the door for Brian. Brian's having a look.
He's so good on the brakes though into that first section. Brian's going to try it now on the outside again. Tomas gets a wheel up onto the grass, opens it up for McManus, who managed to make it stick, but now is Tomas going to get the run out? He isn't. McManus has made that one stick, so it's Dempsey from Brian McManus, Tomas Sears, and then Jordan Kelly. Colin Bayes around at the top 5, back into the GT3 class. He's going to have a look back down, but it looks like it's Joe Montero from Adam Dowling is actually leading out.
Montero is, he's about a second ahead of Adam currently. And Chris Bayes in third. Rob O'Neill having a great run in fourth there. And there's Wayne
Peter McCann going well as well. So race now setting into its rhythm.
Nice battle looking in 8th and 9th and GTE with Sergey and Linus. Just under a second apart.
So I'm just looking back down. Niall Quinn currently not making the type of project or the progress through the field you'd expect. So Niall Quinn down in 11th place. He's got James Moylan in front. So this working into the hands of Keith Dempsey in terms of the championship. Of course, 2 rounds to be dropped, Brad. So we'll have to see after this what way the championship stands. But we'll just go back down into turn 1. I think Thomas Sears managed to get it done. He's so good on the brakes in turn 1. But now McManus capitalised on all that, and it's Brian McManus who leads him through into turn 2. From
exactly, really got the nose tucked in on the car.
Dempsey's 3 wide.
Thomas having a look at the inside. That was
how did they not touch through there? So that Brian McManus will be wondering how the hell he get away with that. That is amazing. Been trying that all for the last 10 minutes every lap. Thomas Sears now under pressure from Dempsey behind, and this all working.
Just contact.
And that's Thomas off.
So Dempsey's had more contact and Sirius is into the wall. Oh dear me, Dempsey's having a nightmare.
And that was Charlie Eastwood into.
So Charlie's took on some damage in that car as well now. So a bit of a disaster night for Dempsey ensuing.
The front of Charlie Eastwood's car looks more like a demolition derby car at this stage than anything, Brad. So.
Charlie's been in the walls this evening. He's had a rough look, he races in where he'd be used to it.
And of course, our very own Evan Walsh put together that Aston Martin Vantage skin that's been quietly dropped over and draped over this BMW, but that does look like it would mean to me that he's going to take significant repairs into the pits with that. So it's McManus who now leads from Jordan Kelly, from Colin Bayes, Charlie Eastwood up into 4th place from Olivier Van Herk, and now Keith Dempsey with it all to do back down in 6th, while closing in behind and within sight is Niall Quinn. So we've race on, Brad.
Yeah, absolutely. This race has still got a long way to go. And of course, the GTE cars. So
Keith Dempsey into the pits.
Yeah, Dempsey into the pits. Clearly got damage on that car. I would suspect he's probably got front right suspension damage from the thump that Charlie gave it broadside as Keith tried to. So it'd be interesting to see how long this repair takes and where this drops him down. But of course, this will put him right back in the clutches of Niall Quinn. In fact, Niall Quinn's already gone through. So
Quinn up to 7th places. Who's that gone wide? It looks like it's Linus. So all of a sudden it's race on for Niall Quinn, but he's got Sergey in front of him, and Sergey is a formidable task to get past. So it's currently Brian McManus from Jordan Kelly, Colin Bayes, Charlie Eastwood with that damaged BMW from Olivier Van Herk, Sergey Graben, and as we're watching here, Niall Quinn, James Moylan, all in this race together.
I'm just watching the Sergey and Jane and Niall battle here. I've never seen a Porsche as wide as that one. It's the one that Sergey's currently piloting, I guarantee it. And especially with the Ferrari and the BMW minus turn behind him. So Niall Quinn be looking to make the move here. He's trying to get into the toe. Nowhere to go. Bit of caution from him. He's looking to keep the car out of trouble now and pick up the pieces as he goes, not in any rush. We are 15 minutes in, so we're 1/3 of race distance. So we will shortly be seeing a few of the top cars coming in for their first fuel stop in the next 2 or 3 laps, I would think.
So I'm just going to go back into the GT3. This is Adam Dowling from Chris Bays. This is for our GT3 championship. And I'm just looking, Connor Murphy has managed to work his way up through this group as well. So Connor not out, as he said, just knuckled in, got that car back to the pits, got a quick fix in. But Chris Bays, currently championship leader, and if it finishes this way, Chris would indeed take the championship. So Connor Murphy with it all to do, but he won't give up just yet with just under 30 minutes, just under the half hour to go, Brad. So our leader will run down through it. Brian McManus, he'd be super chuffed to take this win, wouldn't he? This would be a big scalp for Brian McManus. He's been there or thereabouts. Here's my man Jordan Kelly. I called him out at the start, Mr. Consistent, and he's been putting in the practice and the time from Colin Bays. Behind them is Charlie Eastwood going around with no front on that BMW. Behind Olivier Van Herk, very quick guy, and then look at this, up to 6th place, Quinn reeling them in for the championship.
Fantastic comeback drive now. Niall just got his head down, focused. He would have been absolutely devastated at that touch in turn 1, in lap 1, excuse me. But it's put a slight dampener and changed the rule book for him, so now he's going at it.
So I'm just looking, Dempsey's still in the pits. So obviously a lot of damage to Dempsey. That could be the end of his race, but I'm just seeing
back out, yeah.
As we go back to racing, so I'm just looking at Charlie Eastwood holding off Olivia Van Herk for the moment, but this all playing into Niall Quinn's strategy here as well. So we just have a look back. As Quinn's
Charlie Eastwood still muscling that very bent BMW.
Yeah, and you can see how he's suffering on those straights, because he was passed very easy by Olivier Van Herk. As we stay with this, James Wilder around the outside of Niall Quinn, not easily done, so well done for that move.
Yeah, that's a fantastic move. Got it stuck as well, got on the brakes hard, shut down. Niall had a little look back on the inside, but Moylan said, no thank you, that's my corner. So they follow themselves now up into the horseshoe. And Niall having another look again. So that's a great battle going on there, but Niall really needs to make short work of this and go after Charlie. See if he can sneak a podium. It's going to be a tough order for him, because McManus, Kelly and Bays are comfortably out at front now, with a 6-second lead over Van Herk in 4th.
Absolutely. I'm just looking at this. Is that a change up front from Adam Dowling? My God, Brad, we'll never hear the end of this if Adam Dowling actually wins. This will be all over our VRA driver chat group for the next 2 weeks.
Well, he's another one of our VRA regulars, getting faster all the time.
And it's a great bunch of drivers, Brad. Oh, the banter that does be going on before these races is it's always a bit. It's actually probably as much fun as the racing, isn't it?
Absolutely, it's a fantastic community. You know, we're really fortunate to have it and to be able to race in it. And that's you know, that's really what it's about. The racing is, of course, you know, great fun, and the competition is fierce. And the level of talent and skill that we have in our community is unbelievable at times. But first and foremost, it's a fantastic community. Everyone will help you out if you've got hardware issues, software issues, setup issues. Maybe they won't help you with your marriage issues, but you know, anything else, they're on hand.
So Colin Bay is trying all the tricks in the book here to see if he can flash those lights and get up to the inside. You're not going to do that too easy with Jordan Kelly, so Kelly fights off that attack for the moment. Charlie Eastwood's into the pit, so has he managed to get that car repaired? He has. He's got a new front on that. So Charlie obviously using the same mechanics as Connor Murphy was using to get that car fixed up. Now Daniel Simon
change there with Adam Dowling as well.
So let's stick with these two. Peter McCann, always entertaining to watch. Great seeing him back out racing. Of course, Peter brought home his newly born son Luke recently, so this is his first time back out racing since becoming a daddy.
Yeah, congratulations to Peter and his family.
Yeah, he's smitten to bits. As I'm looking, Quinn moves up to 5th place, so this is all now playing into Quinn's hands.
And of course, that would have been down to Charlie Eastwood pitting, so he's still there behind Moylan at the moment.
So we are getting into the phase. Well, it's a bit early to be talking, but we're coming up to the halfway point of the race.
Just about coming into the pit window.
Absolutely. Just want to see. So Charlie Eastwood is back out in. I just want to see, it's Jordan Kelly. He's under pressure from Colin Bays. So Colin Bays manages to get up the inside of Jordan Kelly for 2nd place. As the same, is this Quinn into the pits? It is. So this is going to be actually Quinn and James Moyle into the pits at the same time. So we'll keep an eye on this for a second, Brad. I'll keep an eye down the back as McCann and Daniel Steinman go by side.
Interesting exit. These two cars coming in line of stern together. Who's going to be the fastest pit team?
So
Moylan pits first.
So Quinn, and you can do that, you can drive through the ghost cars into the track. So a change of position, so that didn't work out for Quinn as he loses position back to James Moylan, so that's great.
Yeah,
Just
some way back, but Moylan will have a great advantage coming out of the pits.
Obviously less fuel in.
Yeah.
So Dowling now under big pressure. Dominicus Stanis.
Dominicus behind him, yeah. So of course, if any of you are watching at home and you like the look of this and you fancy go yourselves, do come and join us. Get in touch with us, VRA.ie. We'll be happy to have a chat with you, help you through everything you need to know to get started in digital motorsport.
So this is very interesting. This is Chris Bays pulling over for whatever reason. Has he got damage to that car, Brad? He has. He's picked up a lot of front end damage on that, and as I'm looking at it, this now means Conor Murphy's back into the fold.
Now, far from me to suggest that this may have been tactical. Do they want to take it to the last race? I don't know.
Well, Chris currently sitting, he's back on pace, whatever was the issue, but he's a lot of front end damage on that car. You can see he's struggling with it.
Yeah, he's
so
a lot of time on that car. Looks like he's driving an Asda shopping cart.
Let's go back on board to see just how much steering angle he's putting onto that. Now that is not going to favour his race too well once he pits. So Jeremy Montero into the pits. Let's see if he does. He doesn't need his. This is Chris Bays into the pit. So that's championship leader for GT3. Now, where's Conor Murphy in terms of his race?
Conor Murphy is
down in 6th currently.
Yeah, so he's in P6 in that class.
And his car is America's AMG is looking fairly minty there. So let's go back out to front. It's Brian McManus. A lot of air now. 2.2 seconds back to Colin Bays, who should have and does have Jordan Kelly breathing down his neck. So let's watch this. These guys will be coming into their pit window. Are they going to pit this lap? No. So they stay out. Colin Bays from Jordan Kelly. So let's see if Jordan can get the run on him. Talk us through this one, Brad.
Yeah, so as we know, the BMW just had a few more ponies on the straight. So Jordan just struggling to make use of the toe there into the Ferrari, but it's now into this midfield section as they come into it, to the horseshoe, where the Ferrari is exceptionally strong. And Jordan has shown he's been strong all through this section that we've been testing. So expecting to close up now. He's aiming to the back of that BMW. This. You can smell a good second place, if not a victory, if anything happens to McManus up front.
So I'm just looking as Quinn had issues because he's come back out.
11.
He's dropped back down to 11. So from pole. Yeah, he's making up true, but Sergey and Daniel Steinman into the pits, but back up to 9th behind Charlie Eastwood. That's going to be a great battle if Quinn can close up onto the back of Charlie. A lot of work to do there.
Yeah, Niles lost a little bit of time, but he's now back into 9th behind Charlie.
Yeah.
And Moylan. So obviously there's a few people in front: Rory O'Shea, Pekka Viscus, Van Herk, who haven't pitted yet.
Dowling, so GT3 class, that's Adam Dowling out of the pits.
Yeah, and Dominicus as well. Lee Connolly is in the pit lane, and Rob O'Neill as well. So coming in thick and
Connor
fast.
Murphy, as we talk about it, so was he able, I wonder, Brad, at the start of this to take in enough fuel during that prolonged pit stop? I doubt it, but to be able to say it, because he's now running.
He would get to the end.
He is now running in third place.
He'd need to be running on a fuel-saving map the entire race, which would cost him heavily on the big banking straights. So expect him to need a splash and dash towards the end of the race. He's obviously just out of sequence right now.
So it's not championship over for Conor Murphy now, as Chris Bays is back down in 9th place. So we'll have to get the calculators out tapping at the end of this, Brad. So currently out.
On this one.
Yeah. McManus out in front, hasn't been into the pits yet from Jordan Kelly. Colin Bays, so that is your top three as they get into the back markers. Olivier Van Herk out on his own in clean air with Linus Patakis then in 5th from Charlie Eastwood, who was defended heavily from James Moylan, and then all the time in the background Niall Quinn, championship leader, currently pole sitting man, lost 7 positions with that early spin with Dempsey when they collided, and behind him is Evan Walsh. Look at poor Evan's car, that's far from fresh, Evan.
It needs a little bit of paintwork on that one, Evan, and you are just the man.
So Daniel Simon then from Sergey Grobin. Let's stick with these guys, this is going to be a great race, I'd say. Let's go on board with Sergey and see. Sergey, of course, an out and out sim racer.
Usually active in the sport. Usually find him on various chat groups in the week, talking about some other interesting topics.
So McManus, our leaders, into the pit. Sorry, Brad, for cutting across. So this is Brian McManus into the pits, which now has my man Jordan Kelly. I called him at the start, out in front, but of course he still has to pit.
Wait, Colin as well. He's 0.7 of a second now ahead of Colin Bays, having made that pass. So yeah, Jordan's looking racy.
Yeah. So into the pits, Brian McManus, Olivier Van Herk, and Linus Patakis. Charlie Eastwood then nearly 40 seconds back. Niall Quinn unable to capitalise, sitting in 8th currently from Evan Walsh. And then in our GT3 class we have Adam Dowling, and look at this, Conor Murphy in behind.
Just will not say die.
And at this stage I'm gonna say, no offence to anyone else, but if Conor Murphy can do this, I know he phoned me or he sent me a message earlier on to say he was up in Glasgow earlier on today jumping onto a train. He thought he was going to miss the start of the race. He's probably ran all the way home from the train station, jumped onto a sim, and now he's fighting for this GT3 championship. Great guy, Conor, great supporter of VRA as well, just to call it out. He's anything he can do, he's always there.
And
as with yourself, Brad.
In that car, of course.
Yeah. So he's going to be loving this, but so that's Conor Murphy, as we were saying that, into the pits. So this is do or die. Can he get out into clean air and capitalise on this pit stop? I don't think he's going to be taking on fresh boots. It's going to be a splash and dash, hopefully. So let's see how long he is in the pits. Yeah, this is for the GT3 Championship. Of course, then he's got the task of getting by Eddie Conley, E. Malone, Joe Monteiro and Adam Dowling to keep his championship fight alive.
So
but I'm sure
just leaving the pits. And Ian Malone as well. So Ian Malone's now back out. And
that's Conor Murphy coming out in 5th position.
5th.
So here we have race leaders. Colin Bays leaving the pits ahead of Jordan Kelly. So that's going to be as close as it can be. Now let's see if Brian McManus, if this undercut is going to work for Brian. It does. And can Charlie Eastwood get past? He can too. So that's Jordan Kelly relegated down into 4th position, and now he's going to come out with James Moylan right up the gearbox of that Ferrari. So let's see how close this is.
Bad pit stop for Kelly. I don't know what quite happened there, but obviously.
And a spin for Jordan. So cold tyres. He obviously did take on tyres to start that. So now we have Colin Bays out in front from Brian McManus and Charlie Eastwood. So is the WEC man going to be able to close in? He's 3 seconds behind Brian McManus. This now promotes Niall Quinn all the time up to 6th position, Brad.
Well, quite astonishing turn of events, Niall. I mean, a few guys that we saw have heavy contacts in the early part of the race. Charlie Eastwood all but T-boned Keith Dempsey as Dempsey tried to recover his stricken BMW.
As we say that, Dempsey I think is retired, so that could be the championship.
That is possibly curtains for his attack there. So I'm sure that, that Niall Quinn won't be allowing himself to think about that just yet. He's plenty busy enough chasing after Van Herk, so he won't be thinking about the title just yet, and he may not even be aware that Dempsey is retired.
So we'll keep an eye on that, of course, as we were saying, with the way this race is going, it's calculators out once the checkered flag is out, because we won't be able to tot up the championship standings just like that. There is, of course, 2 dropped rounds in this championship, so both Dempsey and Quinn and Conor Murphy and Chris Bays will be out with the calculator trying to figure out who is where. But as we look at that, Sergio Grabban, Peter McCann, let's stick with these guys, and it's a spin, someone out across the grass as Peter McCann goes teleporting around the place. Peter, of course, up in Mayo with
wind-up
internet. So I'm trying to see, that is Daniel Simon who went off, so he'll be kicking himself with that, going ever so well. So I'm just looking.
Shame possessed him in there.
It's Adam Dowling who's now with the GT3 class, but is he going a little bit slower? I just want to see. It looked like he was for a second there, but obviously back on it now. Conor Murphy all over the back of Rob O'Neill, so let's see. Conor going to be able to get this move done. He's up the inside. He's going to take a dive.
He's having a look into turn 1. Makes the move stick.
And it's into the bus stop, yeah.
And, well,
that's Conor up into 4th. Now he's got the job ahead of him. So now he's got 10 seconds to reel in Eddie Connolly, all out on his own, going well.
Big gap up front there. But he's got a few laps now. We are just over the half an hour mark, so 1/3 of the race left to run, and cars will be all heavy with fuel, fresh boots on some of these cars, and they'll be pushing to the line.
So let's take a run down from the top. It's Colin Bays. Now look at the gap he's got. He's all out on his own, 7 seconds back. So pit stops working out really well for Colin Bays. From Charlie Eastwood then reeling in. He's not actually reeling in McManus over that last lap. Olivier Van Herk then. All the work to do is he's got James Moylan and Quinn, and this gaggle of cars with Jordan Kelly and Peter McCann closing in on the back of them with Sergey Grabban.
That last lap there was
he has, yeah.
Slower than Bays. So he's not happy with the car and heavy fuel, or maybe not happy with that set of boots he's got on. But, so it's going backwards for Brian. Let's see what he can do to catch that up. He'll want to keep that podium. He's worked hard for it.
Didn't work out well for Brian with those pit stops either, so we'll keep an eye on that. But at the moment he's keeping pace over quick man, danger man Charlie Eastwood. As we look back down, Quinn has now got his sights set on this championship firmly, Brad. Right on board.
He's a class act clearly in his racing career, but to jump on and be relatively new to sim racing into this community with some strong drivers, and within the space of a few months he's right on the pace.
So just looking out in front as James Moylan managed to make this stick, it looks like he has. So Quinn now up to 5th position. So I'm not sure what happened there with Olivier Van Herk, the back of that group, but he lost two positions as we were talking there. Now Quinn up the inside of James Moylan, so he's up to 4th position, Brad, as they come down into turn 1. So Quinn absolutely flying at the moment.
Yeah, car repaired, and he's obviously just got his head down, as I said earlier, and focused now. He wants a podium out of this.
Well, he's got 4.5 seconds to close in on the back of Charlie Eastwood, and that's going to be a big ask. But what a drive from Niall Quinn. I'm sure Keith Dempsey is sitting at home watching in this, wondering what could have been, but too much damage on Dempsey's car after a spin around and then Eastwood into the side of him. I'm sure there'll be incidents sent in, and we'll be up late tonight, Brad, looking over those, but let's stick with Quinn for the moment.
So that gap between Colin and Brian up front, that's come down ever so slightly by just under a second. So it's now 7 seconds. So Brian's starting to peg that back a little bit. Pretty static there with Charlie, two seconds back. Yeah, Noel's still got it all to do.
So of course we've always got Damien McMullen out pounding it around. Huge fan of Damien McMullen, always shows up, gives it his best. But it looks like he's had a bit of damage onto that car, so that won't be the end of his race, but he's always willing to give it a go in the GT3s. Great racer, always a fair racer, and it's Nathan Healy out in front to reel in. Ronan Hederman then.
But am I right in thinking that McMullen is the only one running the Audi?
I think so, yeah, at this stage.
Yeah, great to see that car. That's a good looking motor car, is that?
Yeah, and Rob O'Neill as well, another huge fan of Rob, always shows up, puts the work in, pounds rounds. He's currently running P5. Conor Murphy out in front, so Conor with all the work to do now. He's after reeling in, as I said, he's 10 seconds last time we checked in to Eddie Conley, so he'll have to take him 5 seconds out of that. With Joe Montero not able to close in as much as we would have thought, so that's with the GT3. So Adam Dowling out in front, pretty much dominating in the GT3 class as Adam. He's gone really well around Daytona here.
So just looking through the order, I think the net winner of the pit stop phase has to be none other than Peter McCann. He has slotted himself neatly into P8 just in front of Graben there, and he was well down the order for the pit stops, so he's obviously been paying his teammates enough. No, your horse, Jordan Kelly, he's dropped back a little bit now.
I'm just looking, McManus has dropped back.
Oh, we've got a
good
spinner
deal.
out the stop. Who was that? That was one of the Audi cars, one of the GT3s. So we're into the final 5 minutes of this 45-minute Daytona GTE GT3 endurance race. Colin Bay is still commandingly out front, 7-second gap ahead of Brian McManus in second. Charlie Eastwood, strong showing after a difficult first half of the race in P3. Niall Quinn, the comeback kid, he's having a great drive back to fourth place from plumb last. Moylan, Van Herk, Kelly, McCann, Graben and Stack round out the top 10 in GTE. So
I'm just looking, this is 3 cars wide with, this is Tony Stack, Sergey and Linus, all for 10th place. So I think Daniel coming off the worst of that, but Tony Stack battling hard out in front. So just look at Niall Quinn. Is he closing in? I think he is.
Niall, that gap coming down. Drive making his move. 3 minutes to go.
Desperately wants that podium. Colin Bay is comfortably out in front at the moment. GTE class leader. And that will work wonders, I think, for third position for Colin's championship hopes. Brings him into contention, of course. Keith Dempsey out at the moment.
Collins looks solid out of the pit stop phase. himself out in front, used the overcut effectively, and snuck himself out there. And he's really not looked like he's been going anywhere from there. Brian's trying to make a charge, but he's making no impact. Similarly, Charlie's pretty static behind him, and Niall Quinn closing in on the pair of those guys. Of course, is traffic going to be a factor here? We know the GTE cars are marginally quicker than the GT3 around here. There's not a whole bunch in it, but yeah, it's going to be a factor as we come into these closing stages.
So we're down into the last 5 minutes, just under 5 minutes actually, of this race. It's Colin Bayes comfortably out in front from Brian McManus. Charlie Eastwood after getting that car fixed up. What could have been for Charlie if he hadn't, and of course for Dempsey. But Niall Quinn charging away in 4th place. Don't think he's going to be, unless Charlie slows down or misses a braking zone or something. But it's currently 2 seconds comfortably there as Quinn goes around the back marker. Then in the GT3 class, it's Adam Dowling. Going well from Dominicus Danis, Ian Malone, Joe Montero. Just passing Evan Walsh for that damaged Porsche Porky there in the background, the wing basically hanging off it. With just under 3 minutes to go now, Brad.
I think he didn't get the memo this afternoon and thought he'd started playing Wreckfest. I think he's loaded up the wrong game, hasn't he?
So great to see Peter McCann back out, as we were saying, but he's just having a race now all to himself, with Sergey behind him and Jordan Kelly out in front. So my man Jordan Kelly doing so well at the first phase of this race. Pit stops just didn't work out for him, Brad, did they?
No, it didn't play out nicely for him. Whether that was a timing issue, I think he just maybe waited a bit too long. And a couple of guys got the jump on the fresh car, so not playing the strategy out too well for him today.
Rory Shea just locking it up into the bus stop, so those tyres starting to ache and give out at this stage. Conor Murphy up onto the back. So this for position, it's for a podium for Conor Murphy after having that dreadful start to the race. So let's ride on board with this. This is Conor Murphy. Has he got the toe in? I think he has.
He's latched onto the back of that car. You're going to see the headlights going any minute. He tries to put off.
Just cuts the nose off that car in through the bus stop. So that is Conor Murphy up into a podium position now with, what is it, just under 3 minutes and 2 minutes to go. He has to pull in 5 seconds on Joe Montero.
Clinical move from Murphy through there. He was taking no prisoners, saying, "That's my corner. What are you going to do about it?"
Now, look at this. Charlie Eastwood all over the back of Brian McManus for the last 2 minutes. Let's stick with these guys to see how this goes. This is Eastwood on McManus. Down into turn.
How much is Brian sweating right now?
He's loving this. How often do you get...
Yeah. He's in the toe, he's making the move around the outside, he's looking for it. Has he got the legs around the outside of T1? That's risky. He cuts back to the inside. He's looking again. He's clearly got a speed advantage. Brian's blocking, he's taking the defensive line where he can. And he lives to fight another day through turn 1.
Charlie and McManus will be loving this. But it is the great thing about this sport, this sim race. When will Brian McManus ever get the chance to say, I battled it out around Daytona with Charlie Eastwood behind me? As Charlie takes a tighter line, now can he get the run on McManus? He's going to take, all the time we're looking, look who's in the back of this. Quinn has managed to catch up. So what an end to this race we're going to have. McManus from Eastwood, from Quinn, as we go into the last minute of this race. You're going to get the white flag this time around. While out in front we've got Colin Bayes, all happy out of himself, but let's stick with these now. So this is Brian McManus, and now he has now McManus with it all to do. So he's going to have to not just fend off Charlie Eastwood, but Niall Quinn as well. Hard onto the brakes through the bus stop. Now it's all about getting the power down. Can he get the drive over this? As we were saying, this BMW is going to have a little bit more power coming out. So let's ride on board with it. Charlie Eastwood.
Tucked up in the toe, he's moving to the outside line, he's taking the high line. Will Brian squeeze him up there? No, gives it room. Oh! and they're just waving hello to each other down the backstretch, coming over the start-finish straight. Still there, hanging it out. It's going to be a turn
now
one
Quinn
special, but look who's
closes
there.
in.
Look who's there. Niall Quinn sneaking up on the pair of them like a lion on his prey. He's having a look. Now we know they had a little bit of contact earlier on, so let's hope that we stay clean.
Eastwood up the inside of McManus. This contact is Quinn. Got to capitalise. He is.
Quinn has took a
So
he was waiting for this.
door to door with Quinn.
Oh,
Up onto the grass as McManus tries around now. In the inside, it's contact. Quinn spun around. Oh my God!
it's happened again.
They're in the same spot again. So that leaves Eastwood now up into second place with McManus. And Olivier Van Herk on the outside of Quinn, who manages to hold on to fourth somehow.
Well, I think the toys, the cot and the bed might be out the window for Quinn after this race. He has been beaten up, slapped about and generally abused like no one I've ever seen before.
So out in front, it's Colin Bays. 4 seconds back to Charlie Eastwood. He's just commanded that. He's just controlled the whole thing. Kept his head down as he comes through the bus stop section. But now we've got Olivier Van Herk all over the back of Quinn. He's weaving one way, the other way. He's going to try it on the inside. He's managed to do it, but Quinn with trying to cut back now. Can he get the power on? He can, but that is Olivier Van Herk up to fourth place. Let's stick with these guys. So this is Quinn on the inside. So Colin Bays comes out in front. But as I'm saying that,
here he comes again in the tow.
let's keep an eye. Oh, it's Quinn down. He's flashing his lights. He's trying everything.
Oh, he's off. He's up on the inside. Yeah.
Unable to take it. So Colin Bays takes the win. What a race that was, Brad. From Charlie Eastwood, the WEC man, able to pull his way back up from down the field from Brian McManus. And then Quinn and Eastwood having that contact. Then Olivier Van Herk to get the run on Quinn. Quinn relegated from pole down into fifth place. Jordan Kelly able to take as the fireworks go off. In sixth place from Peter McCann, who rounds out in seventh from James Moyle and Sergey Grabin. But what a race we've had there in the GTE class. Adam Dowling able to take the checkered flag from Dominicus Stanis, Ian Malone, Connor Murphy up. Did he manage to get the?
He got P3. He got P3 in GT3 class. Of course, Dominicus and Ian are in the LMS class.
So all of these classifications, those results, to be confirmed. But there you have it. Colin Bays from Charlie Hughes from Brian McManus. That's your podium in the GTE class. Quinn unable on that last lap to make that move stick. Of course, contact with Eastwood. I'm sure there's going to be incidents sent in over that, Brad. But Olivier Van Herk capitalising then. Of course, but Keith Dempsey.
Charlie Eastwood getting his claws out, getting a little bit feisty, getting the elbows out. I mean, it's the first time we've seen that. Really threw a Hail Mary up the inside of McManus. McManus had no idea it was coming. Pushed him wide. Niall Quinn then took advantage of the pair of them beautifully. And Charlie Eastwood said, no, I'm not having that. I'm going to go up the inside of you. And, of course, inevitable contact. So that one will be discussed at length, I'm sure, in the steward's room.
I'm sure. And then, of course, Chris Bays with that, whatever the issue was, he took a lot of damage to the front of that car, whether it was contact or whether he made a mistake himself. But he doesn't actually finish down in ninth, as Keith Dempsey DNF as well with David Yamamoto. So Adam Dowling was able to take the GT3 class win over E. Malone and Dominicus Stanis. And Connor Murphy, it's classifying Connor's third. We'll confirm that at the end. I'm not sure if that brings the GT3 class down to the last race in 2 weeks' time in Spa, but it certainly does for the GTE Cup. So that is going to be the race to watch. That's the one everyone's been waiting for, Brad. Are you going to take a seat in it?
Absolutely, I wouldn't miss that for the world. But yeah, I mean, interesting night tonight, Niall. I mean, the championship contenders, all five of them across both classes, having a really tough day at the office. Things not going their way at all, so that's blown the championship in both classes wide open. We could have seen potentially both of them completed tonight, But I think we're pretty sure now that they'll both go on to Spa, so it'll be the showdown in Belgium.
Well, I've got the calculator out here. I'm trying to do it, but no.
Make sure you're there with us.
So we'll sign off, Brad. Thank you so much for giving us your time tonight to sign in and help me with that race. We did get the race when we wanted at the end. Daytona never disappoints, does it?
No, fabulous venue, and great to be out in
of a Wednesday night.
Yeah,
Brad,
exactly.
pleasure as always. See you in 2 weeks' time, mate.
Thanks,
Thank
guys.
you everyone for joining in. That is round 9 of the VRA GTE Pro Championship from Daytona. We'll join you again in 2 weeks' time for the last race, which is Spa. Join us then. Broadcast starts at 8 p.m. sharp.